Hello everybody, welcome to the Wonky Angle, where I talk about electronic music, both new and old. And today, it's time for the Wonky Angle CD Collection Year 5. So yes, it's time to do the annual CD collection video, as I always do every year. Yeah, I may have done a big, giant celebration video for our 5-year anniversary, but I wasn't gonna skip this. I do this every year. This is not going to be any exception. I'm going through the CDs that I bought over the past 12 months. Now, by popular demand, I am not going to be moving the camera from this spot, because some people have been complaining about that, and, I would always cover up the mic with my finger because I was holding the camera weird. And even though now I know where the mic is, it is right here. See, you can't hear me now. And now you can hear me. I wish I had looked that up earlier in the previous videos, but it is what it is. But yes, got plenty of CDs here, and I'm just going to go through the ones that I bought in the past 12 months, and yeah, there's going to be more jump cuts. Let's put it that way. Alright, so to start off with, just this random CD, which is kind of a special case. Over here, I have 808 State's Transmission Suite, the new 808 State Comeback album, which I thought was pretty solid. It was pretty good. I bring this one up first because I have 2 copies of this one. And this other one here, which I have not taken out of the plastic, I have for sale on Discogs. So, if you want to actually, purchase this and take it off my hand so that I only have 1 copy, which I would like, then you can, I guess I'll link something in the description. I have it for sale for $7. Not that much. I think it's lower than anyone else on the site has. Just doesn't include shipping since I don't know who's gonna buy or whatever. And I'll figure that out if someone ever does purchase it. It's probably not going to be much more than $5, I don't think. But I'll have to look it up and stuff. But yes, 808 State Transmission Suite, it's a good album. And I have 2 CDs of it because, yeah. From there I can go to the one non-CD musical purchase that I've made over the past 12 months. It's a vinyl record of Michael Mennert's Space Jazz. Whoa. This raises my vinyl record count from 2 to 3. I don't usually buy these because I do not own a turntable and don't really have any way of playing them. I had actually intended for this to be a CD purchase. I bought the CD off of Michael Mennert's website just directly from him. And I did not get a CD, I got sent a vinyl record on accident. I'm not sure why that happened, though I will not complain because this is great album art, and I don't mind having it in this giant form just sitting up there on top of my shelf, way up there. So yeah, that's cool. Sorry if there's some glare going on here. And another big purchase that is not categorized with all the other ones that I can highlight right from the get-go is this gigantic box set of Underworld's Drift Series 1. This is a thing, finally broke the record for most expensive item currently in my collection. Previously held by this guy up here, Carbon-Based Lifeforms Hydroponic Garden, which is a great album, and I paid $80 for a CD because it was the original Ultimate pressing, and it was just really freaking rare, and I make good life decisions and stuff. Most CDs in my collection are not that expensive. This box set, however, breaks that record because it was $120 or something. I just bought it right off the Underworld's website directly. And there's so much here. You got this flappy cover thing that comes off and is kind of annoying. And if you pull this off, it just has this giant fold-out book thing, which isn't really a book. This is the book. It's got this book with the orange cover, and it's got tons of like notes from like lyrics and interviews with Carl Hyde and Rick Smith, and it's really cool. And it also has this giant red card, which has a giant poem from something. I don't know what it is. And then the actual CDs are in here. This Underworld. Whoa! 8 different CDs. It's got the Dust, Atom, Heart, Space, Game, the Sampler Edition, Underworld and the Next, and that's actually a DVD of all the videos. I think it's a Blu-ray, and I don't have a Blu-ray player, so I can't really play that. But, you know, all the videos are on YouTube anyway, so I can just watch them that way if need be. So this is cool. This is... Definitely wouldn't have thought to have purchased this, except for the fact that Underworld's Drift Series 1 was just so much better than I would have ever anticipated it being, as I've mentioned in the past. And they still haven't done anything for Drift Series 2 yet, which is interesting. I thought they were going to, I thought they were going to be picking up Drift Series 2, like, right at the beginning of 2020, but they haven't actually picked up from that yet. Oh no, this is totally falling off now. But yeah, no sign of Drift Series 2 yet. I will still be looking forward to that whenever they decide to do it. Though to be fair, I wouldn't be complaining too much if it never happens, because, good God, Drift Series 1 has, like, some of Underworld's best stuff in forever, and they could definitely use a nice year-long break of nothing, if not more, after how much they put into this. So, you know. Okay, going from here to the actual CDs in my collection here, I can show off these two. These CDs from way out west. Here's their self-titled, and here's Don't Look Now. Yeah, two very good, this is a trance, progressive house album, that I just highlighted in that most recent video, which you should definitely check out if you can find it. And this is their other really good album, which is kind of, well, I guess more down-tempo leaning, kind of a little more hybrid-esque, maybe. Probably their most musically diverse project so far. I really like both of these albums, obviously, enough to get to purchase them, and both of them are worth checking out. And from there, I can also pull out this guy. Oh, get the fuck out. Come on. This is M83, Hurry Up We're Dreaming. This has got, the two discs from it. And this is also another funny story, because I technically also have a duplicate copy of this one. Yeah, I'm going to put that here. And here's the other duplicate copy. This one, however, is not for sale, because though it's got disc 1 in it, where disc 2 should be is this, a CD of Spoon's Transference. I have no idea what that was doing there. I got a refund from the person who I bought it from, but they didn't really send it back, because who would really have a use for only the first disc of M83 and just a random Spoon CD in there on accident? But yes, M83 Hurry Up We're Dreaming is a great album, and I got it made sure to keep it in my collection. Gotta be careful there, I don't want to rip the case, you piece of crap. I guess I can talk about the 3 CDs that are just stacked up right here. Yeah, because I have officially filled out both of these shelves, and I'll have to go down to one of the shelves, like, way down here in the corner, for the CDs I get in the coming year, I suppose. But yes, these 3 CDs. First we got Cybotron's Clear, which I recently covered. And it has the track listing I'm used to with, that starts with Clear, it has R9, and then just kind of goes from there, like how, you know, it's not the Enter version, it's not the reissue that has the remixes at the end. It's the original. It's not the original. It's like the 1990 reissue, I want to say. Yeah, 1990. But yeah, this album's still great. If you want to hear more thoughts, check out my review. This was an interesting purchase. This is Gaia, Moons of Jupiter. The Armin van Buuren side project that was just way better than that I had any right to be. I did not expect this project to be as good as it was. That's the back. So I ended up buying it. Like, to think that he had like this kind of weirder, more experimental, even though it's not really that experimental, just this straightforward trance project that's like actually really freaking good all across the board, and I've actually come back to it quite a bit. If I'd actually listened to it when it came out, instead of like just doing it through the run of some stuff I missed after 2019 was over, this might have even been a year-end list contender. It wouldn't have been on the year-end list proper. It would have just been an honorable mention. But still, this, yeah, Gaia Moons of Jupiter was really freaking good. And then from here we got this guy, Rum Pistols Dynamo, as requested from that one guy who paid me on Patreon to cover all the Rum Pistol albums. Just finished that discography review recently, and this was obviously the one album from the guy that I enjoyed the most by a long shot. Yeah, and this is interesting because it's got this tiny little jewel case. When I got this package, it didn't actually have a case at all. It just had this front card thing and the CD itself right there, and that was it. It came in a little like plastic sleeve. It's somewhere over there, I want to say, and that was it. So I got this little mini jewel case, this slim jewel case, I don't know what to call it, to put it in. So those are the three that were stacked up there. Okay, moving on from here, I got, here's two new BT CDs that I got. I got Between Here and You and Everything You're Searching For Is on the Other Side of Fear, which have excellent album covers. Yeah, they're great. And I got them up there, and yeah, these albums, I've obviously returned to this one much more. This one's kind of fallen by the wayside because it's probably the most redundant thing BT's put out to date. But that is probably one of his best, that might even be his best album cover, period. Right here. I like the back of my t-shirt, by the way. It's from that Orbital concert that I went to like last year. Guess there's this guy down here. This is a little different one. Steve Reich, Music for 18 Musicians. One of the random picks from my favorites of all time list that wasn't really that electronic, but you know, it's modern classical. I don't remember when it came out. Oh, 1976, there we go. But yeah, this is the one that has, like, it's separated into the different sections. It's got the pulses and then section 1 through, what is that, 11? And then there's a 3A and a 3B. And yeah, this is excellent. This helped set the formulas for that would become electronic music into motion. And you should definitely check it out. It's got all sorts of pianos and marimbas, and it just sounds fantastic, even to this day. So yeah, check this album out. Check Steve Reich's Music for 18 Musicians out. And over here, way to the side, I got some Gas CDs. I got Pop, and I got Narco Pop, which is cool. Narco Pop's upside down. There you go. So yeah, these are good albums, and Narco Pop's like it's got like a book, and it's got pictures of leaves and stuff, which is neat. Yeah, both of these albums were pretty solid. I'm glad to have both in my collection. And right next to them, I got Gabriel Lamar, Among Trees I Want to Live, from Dub Techno Guy. I just recommended him in that 5-year anniversary video. I mean, the guy has like, what, 16 albums, and he just came out with a new one called Shared Fictions that I'm going to be covering in the next Some Stuff I Missed. It was not better than this, unfortunately, but I wasn't really expecting it to be. Though it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Spoilers. And this album is quite possibly his best work overall among Trees I Want to Live. So it is just at least the one that best sums up his appeal as an artist. Just goes through all the different sounds he's explored over the years and just shows them in a really succinct and cohesive way, I guess. Yeah, it's not a very good album cover, but it's neat. Here's another one I got. Here is a double CD from Jeff Mills, The Sequence, a retrospective of Axis Records. Another one that I highlighted in the 40 more greatest electronic albums of all time video I just came out with. Because I just recently did, like, I guess a mini marathon of Jeff Mills stuff. I didn't finish it because after a certain point, like around 2010 or so, all his albums just started to sound exactly the same, and he just ran out of interesting stuff. But this double disc greatest hits compilation was a pretty nice sum up of all the things that Jeff Mills is good at. And also, something interesting about that Jeff Mills one is that for whatever reason, when I bought it off of his website, it came with this canvas bag. Like this is, it's Axis, for Axis Records. Which I feel like you could misconstrue this for something. I don't know if this is the kind of thing I'd want to carry out around in public, but it's a thing that's cool. So going on from here, one thing that I can point out is that I expanded out my Outer collection. Because used to be, I just had Incunabula, and then Trirepede, and then Xi. But then, while I was doing the series, I decided that also worth my purchasing was Untilted and Quarestis, which are both great freaking albums. I don't think I'm going to be buying any more Outer CDs than that. I got all the really good ones that the albums from them that I properly love. But yeah, that's a nice little collection of 5 Outer CDs there for you. I also expanded out my Chemical Brothers CDs here. Let's see here, there we go. So I used to just have Push the Button, which is my favorite one, as I've made clear many times. But now I also have Dig Your Own Hole, and I also got Further, and I also got No Geography, which is, yeah, that's great. Right, another thing, I already showed off once this CD of Matt Most, A Chance to Cut is a Chance to Cure, but now I also have their best album, Plastic Anniversary, which is neat. And if case you couldn't tell, this case is paper, I think. I was gonna say, that's not plastic, is it? Oh yeah, there we go. I've never actually taken this out. Yeah, it's got this paper case instead of a plastic jewel case like that. But it's got that plastic covering right there. I also expanded out my DJ Shadow collection. So from just introducing, which I had before, to now also having 2 more. I got The Mountain Will Fall. I have talked about that many times already. And I also got The Outsider, which is really underrated. And, a lot of people hated this one when it came out, but because, it's just like super straightforward hip-hop that was trendy for 2006. It's like the hyphy movement stuff. But it's really good for what it is, despite the obvious datedness. It's one that I actually put on pretty frequently. I'll have to do a proper series on DJ Shadow someday. That guy deserves, like, a more in-depth look at some point. So from here, I got this CD of Elon Moore's Long-Awaited Journey. I've highlighted this a few times already. What I did is was on the Best of the Decade list. I stand by that placement. super creative project from an artist who doesn't have much of a history as of yet, and it's a signed copy. This CD took a really long time to arrive, like several months. I guess because I think Galen Moore's from Israel or something. And not to mention, because I do think there are still technically CDs of this album available if you want to buy them. Just, you know, it's not really what he's promoting anymore because he's got the Lands of Delight album and presumably whatever he happens to be working on next. But just something to keep in mind if you ever want to check that out. And then over here, I got this thing. I got Richie Hawtin's DE9 Transitions. This is I think this is the only DJ Mix CD that I have. You know, Richie Hawtin, Plastic Man, talked about him in the new 40 More Greatest Electronic Albums of All Time video with the Consumed album, which I don't have a CD of yet. It's interesting because I think this project here, this Transitions mix, is probably my favorite thing I've heard from Richie Hawtin so far, because it is just this, it is probably the single smoothest continuous mix I've ever heard in my life. Like, it is technically a DJ mix, but it's closer to like a techno plunderphonics project. Like, he got 28 tracks here, and they all got just their regular titles as if they were just a regular album, but they're actually made up of little snippets of like 15 different techno songs each, and they all blend so seamlessly you can't tell where any of the edit points are, and it is absolutely incredible from start to finish. You just can't tell where any of the tracks begin or end. From a continuous mix perspective, it is the most impressive thing I've ever heard, beating out the Sasha and John Digweed Northern Exposure mix, which is also excellent. But those you can still hear, the crossfades, even if they are super long. They're like 3-minute crossfades, and they work really well, and they're still awesome to hear, but you can still hear the fading if you listen hard enough. This one I can't hear any. Hold that one upside down. Oh, another one I forgot from up here. I got that new Orb album, The Abolition of the Royal Familia. Here it is. Ta-da! Yeah, this album, it's still holding up pretty well. I haven't returned to it nearly as much as No Sounds Are Out of Bounds, but yeah, it's still pretty solid. And it came with the second, the dub bonus CD. It's somewhere over there in like the little cardboard paper casing thing. And some other ones from over here. I can highlight these two. Here's a band that I just got into recently. Stereolab. I got Emperor Tomato Ketchup and Dots and Loops. So those are neat. Yeah, I ran through all the Stereolab albums. No, I don't love all of them. There were a couple, I didn't really care for their second album, the Transient Noise Bursts one. It was like this super noisy experimental rock thing, and it was just kind of a headache for me personally, though I can certainly get why people were into that one. Wasn't really my thing. There were some other ones from later in their career, like Margarine Eclipse, that they blended into all their other releases from that era, and like once you got past Dots and Loops, a lot of their albums started to sound kind of similar. Though they still had plenty of standouts, like Sound Dust was great, and Chemical Chords was great. Sound Dust probably, as I said before, probably would be my favorite Stereolab album if you cut the last 4 tracks off. Those last 4 tracks were fine, but it felt like it was just kind of dragging on at that point. It's kind of a recurring problem with Stereolab, that their albums drag on a bit too long for their own good. But here are the ones that had the least of that problem. It's the ones that everyone says are the best anyways. Dots and Loops was the one that I obviously highlighted in the new addendum video. But Emperor Tomato Ketchup, I go back and forth with whether or not I even like this one more. If absolutely nothing else, the first two tracks here, Metronomic Underground and Cybel's Reverie, are just an insane 1-2 punch to start off at the beginning. And no other Stereolab album I heard just hits you so fast, and like those two might just be the best. It starts like with Stereolab's best 2 tracks ever, possibly. So yeah, Stereolab, they're good. They're very good. We got the Crystal Method. We got Vegas. Yeah, this was a great album from the first favorites of all time list. From like right at the bottom, like old techno big beat thing. Yeah, this album still holds up. Not much else to say there. I don't know if I want to do a proper series on the Crystal Method because their albums just go off a fucking cliff after Legion of Boom. But yeah, and here's another good one. Here's Tipper, The Critical Path. Yeah, I obviously highlighted this in the addendum video, and I talked about it when I was reviewing Jettison Mind Hatch. And, like, just right when I first heard it, I'm like, I need this in my collection. There were CDs available on Discogs, so I just like, yes, I'm buying this right away. And I am very proud to have this in my collection because it is super creative breakbeat IDM thing, and you need to listen to it. Also, I have these. I finally got me some LCD sound system. I got Sound of Silver and I got 4533. So these are cool. Starting to think that LCD sound system is starting to get a reappraisal as of late from critics who think, yeah, were they really that good to begin with? And, you know, I'm not going to act like I ever took them super seriously, but I still love all their albums. I still love Sound of Silver. And 4533 is the best thing they have ever done. Just the long-ass 6-part thing that just went on for 46 minutes. That's the title's a lie. This is a reference to like record speeds, I think. It's not actually the length of the title track. It's close though. But yeah, still love LCD Sound System. I may do a proper series on those guys someday. That would be a really short series and a pretty simple one, I think. Okay, so now another one. Let's see here. Down here, I got this guy. I got Jean-Michel Jarre's Oxygen 3. Because I actually didn't have the CD of this one before this year. I had Oxygen, I had Equinox, Zuluk, Oxygen 713, Metamorphoses and Sessions 2000. But yeah, Oxygen 3 definitely deserved to be in my collection. So I got it. Encore, encore, encore. Yep. Get in there, you piece of crap. I'm abusive to my CDs. Just verbally though, not physically. And, okay, I think there's only 2 more after this, or 3 more. I didn't buy a ton of CDs this year. Just, you know, because of the pandemic and not getting paychecks for several months. But yeah, I got a guy called Gerald's Black Secret Technology. Yeah, I highlighted this one in the new addendum video, favorites of all time thing. This is a great album, even though it is not necessarily indicative of what makes a guy called Gerald great. I'm probably going to do a full series on him later this year. My next discography review is going to be Tiesto, but after that, I believe I'm going to do a guy called Gerald and go in depth on this guy's stuff, because all of his albums are actually pretty interesting in the way, like, his career progresses and all of his albums sound totally different. He's really freaking interesting. I need to talk about him in depth sometime. And here's another one that I don't think I've highlighted before, but this is DJ Spooky's Songs of a Dead Dreamer. DJ Spooky, that subliminal kid. Yeah, this is a really interesting project. I haven't heard any of DJ Spooky's other projects. He's got quite a few others, but this one is excellent. It's like, it falls under this, like, weird subgenre called ambient, which is not a good name for a genre, but it's basically like, you know, it's instrumental hip-hop, but kind of more ambient in approach. And it's really cool. Like, you got these super spacey instrumentals, mostly made up of samples, I think. I haven't listened to this one in a while, but I remember thinking it was just excellent. And I'll have to highlight it I'll have to, like, properly cover it someday. Maybe just as a one-off thing. So that's cool. I can put these back up here. I think that's all of the ones on this. And the last CD that I have to highlight is over here. Save the best for last, as it were. Oh, it's my album. It's 044444 by 256 Pi, and it's got a back cover, and yeah, it's got this on the inside. This is just a plain old card thing. Yeah, when I got this Spiral Out of Control CD here, I used a site called Disc Makers, which let me, you know, it let me put in the artwork, and it let me buy that double CD, obviously. But the thing about that site now is that they kind of had their policy changed, and now you can only buy CDs in quantities of 50 or more. And they're affordable in that way. I mean, 50 of a limited CD run of one of my albums, I could pay for that. However, I also don't think that there are 50 people who would be willing to buy a CD of my album. If I'm gonna do any one album to do a limited CD run, it'd probably be Marble Jar. Just because that's probably the easiest album to get into my stuff, I think. It's probably my best album. I go back and forth between that one and Spiral. Spiral's just becoming more and more of a mood album as the years are going on. And Marble Jar is kind of just more of an anytime album. But yeah, the 04 CD I got on like a different distribution CD manufacturing site. I don't remember what it was called. I do remember the site didn't look particularly secure. It was like really old and outdated from like the early 2000s or something. It had like I think it was called Kunaki or something like that, I want to say. And they wouldn't let me do a full CD booklet, just this two-sided card. But that was plenty enough, because, you know, it's just the one CD and I don't need any more than that. It's just a personal copy. Yeah, so that's I think that's everything. Yeah, so I guess that's it. That's all the CDs and musical purchases that I made over the past 12 months. I'll obviously be doing this again next year as per usual. We'll probably do it in this format again from here on out, so as to avoid people getting too disoriented and stuff, but, you know. So, yeah, normal reviews coming soon. Shout out to my Patreon supporters. They're awesome people. You want to add yourself to that list or make me a review, something linked to my Patreon is in the description. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all for today. See you next time. Thanks again for sticking with me for 5 years.